Oh, what a week it was. Jamaica hosted the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, David Cameron, the Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe, and Her Royal Highness, Princess Anne, strengthening the ties that bind, strengthening our relationship with foreign countries. Hello everyone, thanks for joining us for Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. In this half-hour package, it's all about nature and protecting the environment. Meet the young innovators at Waterford High and discover their creative use for plastic bottles. Plus, we acknowledge National Tree Planting Day. We kick things off right after these messages.
Good day, I'm Andrea Chisholm and this is your JIS News for Friday, October 2. 60 regional emerging leaders were last night urged by Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller to be innovation-driven as the Caribbean community strives to be a significant force globally. Mrs. Simpson Miller was speaking at the opening dinner for the working visit to Jamaica of Her Royal Highness Princess Anne.
As government, as businesses, and as civil society organizations, we must place urgent emphasis on fashioning at every level dynamic 21st century Caribbean leadership with the global perspective and confidence to completely tackle and overcome the challenges we face.
The dinner largely consisted of participants and alumni members of the Caribbean Canada Emerging Leaders Dialogue CCELD. Jamaica is the host country of the staging of the dialogue, which provides an avenue for emerging leaders to develop their skill set. Government will be slashing about $8.6 billion from gross recurrent programs in the budget to pay public sector workers their 7% wage increase. Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips told Parliament this week that details of the cut would be outlined in a supplementary estimate this calendar year. The wage offer is 2 percentage points higher than the 5% originally budgeted for the 2015-2016 fiscal year. Notwithstanding this, the Finance Minister reiterated that government was still working to achieve the 9% wage to GDP ratio by March 2017. He, however, insisted that there would not be massive job cuts in the public sector.
We do not envisage, I don't know what is exactly meant by the phrase, we do not envisage any drastic action, wholesale layoffs or anything like that, Mr. Speaker. We have not proceeded in that way in the first part of the program, and in the last year remaining, we will not proceed in that way.
Dr. Phillips added that government was looking at other options like moving quickly with a public sector reform program, not filling vacant posts, and a program of voluntary separation. Government has contracted Citibank to provide insurance coverage for 8 million barrels of crude oil to Jamaica under its hedge program. The hedge program seeks to protect the country's finances from any major increase in the price of oil. Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips says the contract with Citibank is for 18 months from June this year to December 2016.
The total hedge premium paid to Citibank for trades executed on June 4th, June 5th, July 15th, 2015 amounted to approximately US $27.9 million.
The Finance Minister was responding to questions in Parliament this week posed by his opposition counterpart. He said for the oil hedge program, government approached 4 entities for requests for proposals, namely Bank of Nova Scotia, British Petroleum, Citibank and Noble. Only 3 entities responded, and Citibank provided the most competitive quotation. Meanwhile, for the March to July 2015 period, government collected $2.45 billion from the Special Consumption Tax (SCT) on petrol. In his closing budget presentation this year, the finance minister had announced that an additional $7 per litre would be applied to petrol. $5 of the amount was to go towards the Energy Stabilization Fund.
The total amount of the SCT revenues due to the Energy Stabilization and Energy Efficiency Enhancement Fund amounted to $1.75 billion for the period March 2015 to July 2015. The remainder of the revenues, that is to say 700 million Jamaican dollars, would remain in the consolidated fund.
The Energy Stabilization and Energy Efficiency Enhancement Fund will assist in the development of long-term projects to reduce Jamaica's dependence on oil. Government is currently drafting the amendments to the General Consumption Tax (GCT) Act to pave the way for the development of the fund. Until the legislative framework is complete, a sub-account of the consolidated fund will manage the proceeds from the $7 SCT on petrol. Jamaica remains Zika-free. The Health Ministry says a sample that was recently sent to the Caribbean Public Health Agency (CARPA) tested negative for the chikungunya, dengue, and Zika viruses. But Chief Medical Officer Dr. Marion Bullock-Ducasse says the ministry will continue to intensify its integrated vector management program. At the same time, individuals are being asked to check their surroundings and destroy mosquito breeding sites. And finally, 6 young Jamaicans were awarded on Thursday with the Duke of Edinburgh International Gold Award after completing a year of team building and leadership activities. They were presented with the awards by Her Royal Highness Princess Anne and Governor General Sir Patrick Allen.
It has given me a lot of exposure, and it has taught me core values such as discipline and teamwork.
Giving the keynote address at the ceremony, Education Minister Reverend Ronald Thwaites encouraged the young leaders to share what they had learned in the program with others.
The price and the prize of your award here today is that you don't keep it to yourselves, but that in fact you share it.
The Duke of Edinburgh International Award was founded in 1956 and engages young people aged 14 to 24 in practical experiences and life skills to create global citizens. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Thank you for watching. Let's celebrate Jamaica to the world. Fastest man in the world.
First Jamaican woman to win gold in Olympic 100-meter sprint.
An upcoming global superstar. Mouth-watering meals. And a vibrant set of people. We are Jamaicans. Let's get together and bring back the love.
A cloud forest, an actual forest, and cascading waterfalls, features of our very own Blue and John Crow Mountains. And just this year, it was declared a World Heritage Site. See for yourself.
What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful island we have.
Its culture and nature magically intertwined, one of the reasons that make this World Heritage Site special. Come with us to the Blue and John Crow Mountains. There is much to see, touch, smell, and taste up in these hills.
You can just come in for the day, sit, relax, have your barbecue, go hike on our hiking trails. You can have a tour guide if you so desire to take you on the trail. You can also bring your tent and you can camp overnight. In the Blue Mountain Peak area, you can hike to the Blue Mountain Peak, go to the ice point, come back to Portland Gap where you can rest. The attraction at the at the peak itself is people hike up in the night, stop at their cabins, right? And then 3 o'clock in the morning, you'll get up out your bed, hike on the trail for another 2 hours to the peak itself to see the sunrise. It is beautiful.
This is where peace is. Talk about getting away from the hustle and bustle of life. This is the place to be. It's cool nature, yes, often cold, particularly in the latter part of the year. But you'll be easily warmed by the best tasting coffee and dance the day away with captivating traditional entertainment. Yes, the Blue and John Crow Mountains has it all. You leave amazed, not believing it all exists in one place, some 4,000 feet above sea level. High up, where it feels like you can touch the clouds, where you can watch birds making their nests, playing among their flock.
How it gets its name, the blue. If you're in Kingston looking in the hills or on the hills, you would see the color blue on the mountain. The John Crow part of it is our ancestors used to hunt wild boar and take it to the other parishes to sell to the different parishes. So what is not sold off, they would leave it. They wouldn't take it back home, and then the John Crow will come down and clean up after they leave.
On the 3rd of July 2015, the Blue and John Crow Mountains was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage Site list. After many years of championing for this cause, the committee fell under the spell of the mountains and gave in. They had no choice. The national park is a true natural treasure. Don't be fooled though. This site is huge, impossible to fully discover in a day, maybe not even in a week. It spans 4 parishes: St. Andrew, Portland, St. Mary, and St. Thomas. Just over 26,000 hectares, and is the preservation zone of the Blue and John Crow Mountains National Park, which itself is just over 48,000 hectares. The Blue and John Crow Mountains is one of 32 World Heritage Sites listed for both cultural and natural heritage. There are over 1,357 flowering plants, with over 25% being endemic. All Jamaica's 30 endemic birds can be found in the area. Dozens of herbal plants to cure almost every ailment.
This is called a headache bush. You can use it as a painkiller. So if you have an headache or a stomach ache, you could boil it. Like a tea, have a 2 or 3 leaves to a cup of water. You remember they used to send telegrams, right? In the early days, this is what they used to use, like the ancestors, the Maroons. They would write on this and send it. If you carve on it, it will stay with that green or dry. And the information, you could use this and send the information like a letter.
And it provides that precious commodity.
The Blue and John Crow Mountain provide 45% of Jamaican drinking water. There are 25 watersheds in the entire Jamaica, and 10 of those watersheds can be found in the Blue and John Crow Mountain National Park.
On the cultural side, the Maroons take center stage. Once a refuge for runaway slaves, it remains home for their descendants. Their way of life is an intriguing history lesson for the unknown. There you may imbibe on authentic foods and dive into the inviting Nanny Falls.
The interesting thing is that so few of us Jamaicans take advantage of the opportunity that we have up here in terms of the relaxation, the climate.
Don't allow foreigners to know this World Heritage Site more than you. Remember, when you go, take only pictures and leave only footprints. For a tour inside the Blue and John Crow Mountains, call the Jamaica Conservation and Development Trust 960-2848-9 or 920-8278.
How well do you know your child? What he or she likes or dislikes? Favorite food? or color. How about who their friends are? Make the time. Get to know your child. It helps to build their relationship. Makes it easy to keep them safe, and it helps their development process.
Do you remember the 3 R's? Reduce, reuse, and recycle? Well, some children have gone beyond that with the use of plastic bottles. Check this out.
Hey, solar. We are going to use solar. That Waterford High, we are use solar. What we say?
Today on School Zone, Waterford High School strikes yet again, creating light bulbs using plastic bottles. Now that's a bright idea. Stick around with me for more.
You will need a sheet of zinc, a chisel and marker, bottles of water and bleach, a sheet metal cutter and flash bond.
Okay, you will start by marking out the zinc. So you use the marker and mark out the zinc. And you can use the bottle, or you can cut out like piece of cartridge paper at the size of the bottle. So you would cut it like 3 millimeter bigger than the hole. So I already have one here which is cut out already. So I'm just going to use this. After you have done that now, you would use a chisel to cut out the bottle hole. After you have used the chisel to bore the hole, you're going to use the metal sheet cutter and cut it. So when you're cutting the zinc, try to have someone professional around you to cut the zinc to avoid cuts.
We came up with this project because of the pollution of plastic bottles in our school environment. The Science Club has come together to work to construct a classroom that was out of use. So we have renovated one classroom to solar classroom using plastic bottles with water and bleach.
So when you insert the bottle, you could pour your bleach in before or after, whichever way you rather it. 2 drops of bleach.
The bleach will act against fungi that will create algae in the water.
So after that now, you can cut out the shape to fit on the house top or the school top.
The Waterford High School in St. Catherine, an institution which has been steadily developing a reputation for producing young people with skills in various areas. This current solar plastic bottle light bulb project is testament to that.
We went online, did some research, and we found out that in the Philippines, they actually use a light bulb, they use plastic bottle and water as a lighting source there for low-income families. That idea was brilliant, and we innovate on it a little. So what we do is to actually find a way to light it up without using electricity, since the light bill here is really high, right? So we find a way to get lighting from the plastic bottle, and we are currently using it in the classroom now.
School Zone visited the classroom in question and checked out how this natural lighting is working for the students.
First, they were saying about the heat, but they're misunderstanding. It's not the bottles the heat is coming from. It's from the zinc roof. But the bottles now give off a good enough light. It's not too bright and it's not too low.
So what about when it rains? Those same holes created to let in the light would also let in the rain, right?
Above, on top of the roof, we use flash band. Silver stuff to use the patch holes and zinc roof. And underneath the bottom, we use silicone to seal out the water. That's no water can come in. So the flash band used to hold the bottle, that it don't fall out. And the silicone used to seal out water particles. So whenever rainfall or anything, it won't affect the class. It won't leak or anything.
Gifted and black.
The young innovators at Waterford High also invented a timely tool to deal with predial larceny.
We call it PDL alert system. What we actually did was to innovate on some technologies that already exist to build an alarm system that can put on a farm. Predator larceny is very common now in the world, in Jamaica, and what we do is trying to find ways to prevent this activity.
The PDL alert system, it is placed on the ground. It detects pressure. It can be placed around your livestock, not all around the farm, but placed mainly around your livestock. Whenever we have a trespasser now and they step on it, you know, they detect the pressure, and it's on a stealth because you can't see it, so there will be no sabotage. For example, look, whenever a trespasser step on the mines, you hear alarming sound go off. As in, if you press and you hear the alarming sound. It can either be a loud sound in the surrounding where it can scare off the thieves, and you know they want to get back away from the farm because you know we can draw attention to the farm.
The farmer is not on the farm. The motion sensing camera will pick up whatever is going on the farm, and if he's like, his farm is in like town and he's in Portmore, he can stay at Portmore and view his farm on his cellular phone.
Talk about innovation. Besides the creative use of technology, the hard work of both students and teachers is already paying off.
Waterford High has entered the UDC competition with the solar bottle bulbs, where we were placed first over the other schools. We were also placed third in the Catalyst competition with our solar bottle bulb. The Catalyst Youth Innovators competition is a competition for young innovators. The competition is all about us finding an idea and acting up on it to make a business. We entered the competition with two major projects, the solar bottle bulbs and an alarm system to act against predator larceny. We won big idea for that one due to the high level of technology that we put in it.
To say that we are overly excited and happy is an understatement. The entire Waterford High School family stands behind the young scientists. When we realized they were going to enter this competition, we supported them 199%. And when we realized that they won, it was pandemonium and excitement because we realized that these young people are innovative. They have the right attitude to wanting to experiment. And so as they continue on the path of excellence, which is what our motto is, we are overjoyed that they were able to put together something that could bring all of Jamaica to Waterford High School again.
Public acclaim and prizes aside, the plastic bottle light bulb solar project and predator larceny system have huge potential to make entrepreneurs out of these young scientists.
We want to target other schools in the community and other schools out of the community. We are planning to do like an installation fee, the students doing the installation for them, and they can always come and visit our school to look at our classroom, and we want them to actually adopt this kind of procedure to conserve on electricity.
At Waterford High, we have a light problem.
Mountain we pay that the
I bills them.
we need a solution
We try solve them.
Aye.
Solar. We are going to use solar.
At Waterford High we are use solar.
Hola, mi amo Taji. Let's have fun at school this year. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, shut the door. And let's learn new words like building. B-U-I-L-D-I-N-G. And vegetable yum. V-E-G-E-T-A-B-L-E. Adios, amigos.
Today is being observed as National Tree Planting Day. Trees do so much and more for us as humans. Yes, it's more than just providing cool shade from the scorching sun. Up next, we revisit one tree planting initiative.
The tree is the lung of Mother Earth. You have to plant it, in the dirt. See the tree, you see the tree. The tree is the center to it.
Trees are no doubt critical to the survival of the world. Without them, we would all literally die. In fact, it was Mahatma Gandhi who said, "What we are doing to the forest of the world is but a mirror reflection of what we are doing to ourselves and to one another." The Jamaica Information Service, in partnership with the Forestry Department, decided to play its part in educating our children, and in May, embarked on a tree planting initiative amongst our nation's students. 4 schools were selected to participate in this initiative: Harborview, Padmore, Bridgeport, and Nagahead Primary.
We didn't want to do the regular, having children come into voice programs or write programs specifically for children. We wanted to get them integrated into the future because they are the future. We know that environment or topics relating to the environment, they are a big thing these days. Climate change, how that affects rainfall and all of that, and the importance of trees.
It's good to plant trees.
Why?
Because God loves trees.
God loves, of course he loves trees. Somebody else who wants to tell me? I'm gonna get the drummer, then I'm gonna get her.
Because when you plant trees, you can eat from it, and you can get food from it, and you can do much things from it.
The trees were provided by the Forestry Department.
Our mandate is to increase forest cover by 2% over the next 10 years. So any organization, group, or individual who is interested in tree planting and reforestation exercise, we're just a phone call away. We will be happy to help, offer technical advice, and this is our mandate, so we are always willing and able to help.
First things, trees provide us with oxygen. We need oxygen so that we can live. And we provide the trees with the carbon dioxide because the trees need carbon dioxide so that they can live.
Did you know, in a year, an average tree can remove 1 ton of carbon dioxide from the air?
Trees are a source of medicinal drugs.
Trees increase the beauty of our surrounding.
Indeed, the students learned a wealth of knowledge.
It also helps the children to know about the importance of the trees that they are surrounded by, and how it is important for them to actually be a part of planting trees and ensuring that persons keep the forests around them safe.
We think it's very important because the younger we get them, the better it is, because we are trying to encourage the new generation to be more aware of the environment, to be more environmentally conscious, right? And this, we think, is part of the thrust.
Valuable lessons not only for our children, but indeed all of us.
And that's it for Jamaica Magazine on this busy Friday evening. But the relationship does not end here. Keep up to date with all the useful information at jis.gov.jm. And keep sharing your comments via Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or sound off on social media. I'm Adrian Atkinson, and this has been Jamaica Magazine. Thanks for staying with us. We'll see you again tomorrow.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.